Signal when you're ready. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Bloomington Rotary Club's weekly celebration of service. I'm Steve Wicks, and I'm honored to be your president this year. Please silence your electronic devices. So for this day in history, on this day in 1909, the first race was held at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 12,000 spectators watched an Austrian engineer win with an average speed of 57.4 miles per hour. The track's surface of crushed rock and tar proved a disaster, breaking up in a number of places and causing the deaths of 2 drivers, 2 mechanics, and 2 spectators. So we have a special announcement now in honor of our speaker and our program today. Ellie's going to tell us a little bit about how we handle our food waste today.
When you are finished, when your bellies are full and you can't eat anymore and you still have food on your plate, please go over to my brother and myself over in the corner and we will show you what we're going to talk about. So we're going to sort of do a pre-experience with you if you choose to. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone will be graded on how well they do this. And the results will be announced during Ellie's presentation. Leanne Radcliffe will give our reflection today.
Hi, everybody. I'm Leanne, and I am co-chairing the youth committee with Joy Harder. She's graciously taken me under her wing and is showing me the ropes. So I just want to briefly talk about some of the things that are going on with youth committee. And if you want to join that committee, please, we will welcome you with open arms. So RILA is coming up. It is October 31st through November 2nd. And that is at Bradford Woods in Martinsville. We have a total of 6 sponsorships available. 4 of those are through the youth committee and 2 of those are through the Sunrise Club. So if you have any youth that you think might be interested, please let me know or let Joy know, and we will get them the link that is needed to sign up. For Rotary Interact, we're trying to revitalize those programs in the high schools this year. So North is up and running, but we want to be more present in those clubs. And then we are trying to work on Edgewood and Bloomington South. So again, if you have anybody that works at those schools that might be interested, please let us know. And last, we are still working on the youth exchange program. So we would like to think about some alternative, shorter options for youth exchange, inbound and outbound. So if you have any ideas on that or know of any other Rotary that has done a shorter term youth exchange, let us know. Am I good?
Leanne, before you go, if you could just take a minute and tell the group about some of the other not-for-profits in town that you've been involved with and what you care about.
Okay. So I'm a community liaison, and I work with tons of nonprofits, and I love so many of them. So it's hard to narrow down, like my favorite. But I will just say that a few of them have recently taken me up on some suicide prevention training that I think is really important. And so I'll just chime in on those. One is Beacon Inc. and one is Healing Hands with City Church. And those are working with our vulnerable populations. So suicide is very prevalent in those populations. And so I just appreciate that they collaborate with me and that we focus on things other than just their basic needs, but also their mental health needs. Thanks.
Thank you, Leanne. Peggy Frisbee will introduce our guests today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have a number of guests to welcome as each is introduced, although I might group a few. Please recognize them. So first appears to be the Austin family. So we have Bob Austin, Penny Austin, and apparently Matt Austin. Okay, back there. Guests of Tracy. We also have Brett Spier. So Brett, if you would raise your hand or let us recognize you. He did not make it, so we're not going to do that one. We have Randy Saunders from Scouting America over there. Rita Dunn, president of Bedford Rotary. So welcome, Rita. And we also, I might need help with the name, especially the first name. Yeah, can you stand up and give us your name? He's with Development Services Incorporated. Very good. If anyone might be interested in coming back again, please let us know. And if you'd like to be a member, we'd love to have you. So thank you for coming.
Thanks, Peggy. Lori, do we have any online guests today?
Just to chime in, we are all Rotarians today.
Thank you. Rotary birthdays on the 23rd, Chris Kroll. On the 24th, Diana Hoffman and Bill Oates. And on the 25th, our reflection speaker, Leanne Ratcliffe. We have one anniversary to celebrate on the 25th. Len Tiemann will celebrate his 4th anniversary. Club announcements. I'd like to thank club members for making our district governor, Carrie Aiken, so welcome last Tuesday. Many of you chatted with her before and after the meeting. Later that day, we toured Teacher's Warehouse. Thank you, Marilyn Wood. We also made an impromptu stop at my sister's closet, which lasted a whole lot longer than I thought it would. And Carrie Aiken now is on the guest list of my sister's closet, or the customer list, I should say. And then we had a nice dinner afterwards. So thank you all. Annual Rotary Toast. So that's the event that funds the club and the Bloomington Rotary Foundation charitable giving. So please don't forget to buy your tickets at rotarytoast.com. It's Friday, November 7th. Club holiday party, December 11th at the Bloomington Country Club. Leanne talked about RILA. How many people in the room know what RILA stands for? Okay, most. For those who don't, it stands for Rotary Youth Leadership Academy. High school freshmen, sophomores, juniors, They have a lot of fun and do a lot of good things at Bradford Woods. Club members, like for instance, Rex, you have a grandson at Bloomington North who's a sophomore. He could be someone to go to RILA. So anyway, keep RILA in mind. Beacon has invited all club members to join them as they celebrate a groundbreaking ceremony for the new Beacon Center. So save the date, September 23rd, 3 to 4 p.m. at the center at 1201 West 3rd Street. We've been invited by the IU Law School to possibly co-sponsor and to have our members attend their Constitution Day luncheon program on September 17th. We'll have more details in the weeks ahead, but at the very least, we'll be invited to go there and eat free pizza and listen to what should be a very interesting program. So you might want to put that on your calendars. Final save the date is for the next book club discussion. The book for the next quarter is Everything is Tuberculosis by Indianapolis author John Green. Participants in the book group will meet for dinner and go to a downtown restaurant to be determined later. Then the group will proceed to the Buskirk Chumley for a 7 p.m. conversation between Michael Cordier and John Green, part of the Bloomington Book Festival. And you can buy your ticket on the Buskirk Chumley site, An Evening with John Green. And I think we're ready for the Mystery Rotarian, Tyler. Okay, we did pretty well last week. We'll see how we do this week. So in 2005, this Rotarian won the Teaching Excellence Award from the IU School of Continuing Studies for all 8 campuses. So if you know who that is, put up your hand. Don't shout it out. Okay. If you're online, let Lori know discreetly that you know the answer, but don't type anything. Okay, second clue. This Rotarian is a past board president for Beacon and a 30-year volunteer for Meals on Wheels. We have a few more. Luckily, Forest at Beacon is one of them. Okay, last clue. This Rotarian is a fairly new club member who has become active right away, both as an attendee in our Tuesday meetings and as a member of the Community Services Committee. So if you know the answer, put up your hand. Okay. And Diana Hoffman. Couple of pictures of Diana. The one on the right is from her induction, and you'll see Leanne Radcliffe. Both of them are getting close to celebrating their first anniversary. It's just really nice to see 2 new members who have jumped in feet first and taking leadership roles with the club. Diana successfully convinced Community Service Committee members that Meals on Wheels should be the recipient of the 25-26 district grant. And she has a really interesting combination, thank goodness for LinkedIn, of computer and graphic design expertise. And now that I know that, Diana, I might be looking for you for help in certain areas. So anyway, congratulations, Diana. John Zodi, did you have it right? Oh, okay. Lynn, you were second. Did you have it right? Okay. That might have been Sarah then. Okay. And then Lori, did anyone have it right online?
No indications online.
Okay. All right. Reminder, Rotary, or August is the membership and new club development month for Rotary. And I think we're ready for the video, Tyler.
When faced with complex challenges, there are people who come together to use their skills and connections to solve problems and transform lives. That's us. We are Rotary, a global network of people taking action to make the world a better place. We work with community partners to build green spaces for all to enjoy and to connect with nature and each other. We support local youth through mentorship and literacy programs, developing life skills that lead to academic success and personal growth. We're committed to causes that improve lives everywhere, building peace and economic opportunity, providing access to healthcare and clean water, and ending polio forever. We are people of action. Find your cause and take action with us. Learn more at rotary.org/action.
And I think we have a few minutes for happy dollars. Is anyone happy today?
Happy.
Up, Jim, here comes Michael.
Tell us why. Tell you why. Today is my wedding anniversary and it's number 58. I'll wait for it.
$20 in honor of Connie Chikalis, who does a wonderful performance in the show Harvey, now showing at the Brown County Playhouse. And Friday or Saturday night, it was great to see so many fellow Rotarians at Sunday's matinee performance.
Okay, I am happy and I have just a couple dollars to share, but that does not reflect my level of happiness because as you probably remember, Amina Mohammadi that our club's family has sponsored, our club has sponsored her family and her wonderful supportive husband, Jawed, he does not have it in his hand yet, but he does have official notification that his work permit is coming back and he will be able to get a job and insurance and all those things that we all enjoy. So I'm happy.
We have one online.
Anybody online?
Yes, I'll put $20 in. I'm happy that Charlotte is okay after her fall, and I'm happy that you are as tough as you are. So thank you for that, Charlotte. We love you, man.
I'm happy, kind of similar to Dave, that some federal funding that was frozen for our organization has actually come through and we have a signed agreement, which I about fell out of my chair. So I'm happy for that.
Hi, everyone. Today is my last day, first last day of school ever. Very excited for that. I left my wallet in my locker. I will bring $10 next week.
Congrats.
I have 20 happy dollars. You may recall that back in March, I had happy dollars because our daughter graduated from her master's program at the University of Washington. Today I have 20. I'm going to split it. 5 of them are because she started work the Monday after she graduated. And the other 10 are because she works for the University of Washington's Global Health Research Institute. And the $10 is because it's funded by Bill Gates and not the federal government. So that's what the rest is for.
I'll put in $20 in celebration of the first single that my singer-songwriter daughter in New York dropped last Friday. It's called Tale of the Summer, and I will send a link to all of you to enjoy. So.
Thank you all. It's nice to see so many people happy. And I've seen lots of members going back. I think we're doing really well on the food waste today. So Tracy Jovanovic will introduce our speaker, and Tracy will do so via Zoom.
Thank you, Steve. So about, I don't know, 15 years ago, I guess it was, I remember I was out here at Christmas with Dad and Sue, and we were driving around and we saw this new house that had gone up on Covenanter, and I'm like, well, what's that? And Dad says, oh, it's this new builder, Lauren Wood. He's building this eco-friendly house. And so forever, when we come back Christmas and summer vacations, I'd always drive by the eco-friendly house because I'm a very avid gardener. And then lo and behold, when we moved here, that same builder had a house available near the eco-friendly house. And so we bought it. And once I put my garden in, I was like, I need to go over and meet this person. So a great friendship began with Ellee Spier because she could always give me pointers on what to do with my garden travails, and introduce me to new fruits and vegetables, new cooking ideas, new treatments for it, and then a new way to dispose of the food. So every time I go to the eco-friendly house, I'm always learning something new, which I really appreciate. And I thought when I saw obviously Ellee has a wonderful bio that you all read. I didn't want to repeat that. I just wanted to share with you how she has brought through her work in the neighborhood, how she has brought a lot of her knowledge and shared it, not only with me, but with many people across the community. And then we had the Rotary magazine, maybe, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago, that was totally talking about composting food. I thought, oh my gosh, that's exactly what we're doing. And Ellee really started that off in the neighborhood. You have no idea how much food you waste until you actually start collecting it in a bucket. And I have taken lots of buckets over to Ellie's house, and it's staggering how much we don't think about it. And so to be able to put that back into something that's going to fertilize and bring the earth goodness is amazing. So I thought it was a great opportunity to have Ellee come and talk about that, since it was up in our Rotary magazine as one of the headlines. I thought it was a nice fit with all the effort she's doing, not just within our neighborhood, but within the city and the community as a whole. So with that, Ellee, if you would share with the club your wonderful learnings.
I can do this. Hi, I'm Ellee, and I have a presentation that will come up shortly. I'm actually going to change. So this is the title of my presentation is Empowering Our Community to Make a Difference, one apple core at a time. However, when I use the word apple core, a lot of people think of composting. So I'm going to say empowering our community to make a difference, one piece of brisket at a time, because that's one of the big differences between composting and what we're going to teach you today about fermenting your food waste. Let's see if I can do this. So who are we? So I'm Ellee. Thank you, Tracy, for giving me the great introduction. And I'm also going to introduce my brother, Matt Austin, because I can't do what I do, all the different projects, without him. We are siblings and we are bloomerangs. We grew up here. My parents met at IU, and they said, we're never going to leave. We love Bloomington. You guys can go wherever you want, but we are staying here. My brother and I went to different parts of the country. We tried out all different states, and we decided Bloomington was the place that we wanted to come back to, especially for me, because with 3 kids and all my visions and things that I wanted to do, I said, I need to be in a place where I can raise kids with people, with my family helping me out. And then my brother came back because I needed his help. And so he had other plans and other visions, and he came back to help me. So I returned in 2010, and we started in the stands, and we had a decent sized garden. But as Tracy said, we had the vision of we wanted to build a house that met our needs and had land that met our needs. And we wanted to be in the community forever. So we looked for property, and that's when we built our garden. Our garden was started before our house was built, because food and knowing where the food's coming from and how it is grown is imperative to the way we live. So that's, we moved in 2016 and we already had fruit trees, we already had garden growing, we were ready to go. And then Matt returned in 2018 when my kids started telling me all the problems with food waste at Child's elementary school. And they said, Mom, help me. Why are we throwing away so much food? You've got to figure this out. So in 2017, 18, and 19, I went into Child's as the super volunteer, 40 hours a week. And I started with the school a 10-bin worm composting system. We got $80,000 in grants to put in a worm composting system that the 5th and the 6th grade classes, they rotated and they managed and they taught the rest of the school how to collect food waste, and they did it for several years until COVID hit. Part of that 80,000 was also managing water, redoing their garden, putting in an 80-foot rain garden with the idea that this would be incorporated into the curriculum and they would use food waste to help build that soil. So that's sort of where we started this food waste journey, and seeing that not only did we want to do something with our food waste, but we saw that there was need in other parts of the community. And then I also have a picture of, not only do we have these systems at Child's Elementary, but they're also at Wonder Lab, and the Wonder Lab uses these worm composting systems, which now can be used for all food waste, for fermentation as well. They have these at Wonder Lab as well. So our food waste journey continued with, after I was finished after we started Child's up and going, and the teachers said, we've got this, Ellie, we decided we'd jump into another project. And so we saw that in our neighborhood and our adjoining neighborhoods, a lot of people like to walk and bike and run, but we didn't have a place for anyone to sit. There was no neighborhood park. There were no park benches. So we decided, hey, we'll start selling vegetables to start raising funds to raise funds for a matching grant. And so we were able to create a neighborhood rest station. But because I started selling vegetables, people started saying, how are you growing these vegetables? Why do they taste so good? And so people started saying, can you teach me? Can you show me what you are doing? And so this started to make us think of what else can we do? So that's when in 2020, our little bike station project turned into, well, let's become a certified farm, an urban farmstead, and let's start trying to share even more of what we're doing with the community, not just outside in other places, but let's show how we're living what we're doing at home and how other people can replicate that. So we started that in 2020, and as we're getting a bigger following for our fruits and veggies, we find that we need a way to build more beds, grow more quality food. So we start looking for ways that we don't have to always buy soil, buy fertilizers, buy amendments. And so, because that's what people want, they want the highest, if they're going to spend a lot of money for good quality organic food, they also want the most nutrients possible. So what we happened upon, we started with, let's just do what everyone else is doing. We're just going to collect people's food waste. However, so we started with 6 households. One was Tracy, and we said, bring us your food waste, but we're only using this with what worms can eat. So you can't put in the lemons, but you can put in the salad. You can't put in the hot peppers, but you can put in that apple core. And people were, these 6 households, they were like, okay, this is fine. But we found that there were lots of questions. And when people would go on vacation, they would bring us their bucket and it would stink. It was disgusting. We were doing masks before COVID, and we were still using our COVID masks after COVID. So we were like, we need to have another solution to this. And this is where we found So what is bokashi? Bokashi is the Japanese word for fermentation. It is actually, it was discovered at the same time as composting. So the Japanese found 2 different ideas for food waste and for organic waste. One was composting, one was bokashi, fermentation. Fermentation mimics what happens in our forests all around the world. It's thin layers of organic waste with soil that's inoculated with microbes. Composting is a human invention to get rid of lots of organic matter, big piles, by heating it up very quickly. So we'd already tried composting. We're like, we're not getting soil fast enough. So let's try this fermentation. So the fermentation, if you don't know, that's how we turn a cucumber into a pickle. That's how we make kombucha. That's even how we make hot sauce. It is breaking down on the cellular level food. So taking your cucumber, it still looks like a cucumber when it turns into a pickle, but if you were to put it under a microscope, you would see that it has changed its form. Fermentation also happens in the absence of oxygen, whereas composting is an actual, it is an aerobic process. It's in the presence of oxygen. So what we do is we have fermentation also takes place in, think of if you're making pickles, you're making kimchi, you're doing it in a container. So we are doing the same thing. Bokashi is in, if anyone went back and took their food waste back there, we are doing this bokashi process, not in little jars, but we're doing it in a 5-gallon bucket. And what are we using instead? What are we using? We are using effective microorganisms. So it's a lot of different bacteria that's found in the soil, and the microorganisms are inoculated on wheat germ. And they only wake up, so right now they're hibernating, and they only wake up in the absence of oxygen. So once they're put in with the food, they will start the process. Some other differences between composting and bokashi is composting is done above the ground. Everyone sees it. So we must have regulations on the size of the compost, the height, how much square footage we need. Bokashi is done first in a bucket for 2 weeks, once it's filled, and then it goes below the ground. And it is already, since it's fermented, it's ready for the soil microbes, worms, all your secondary decomposers to jump in and eat it and turn it into soil really quickly. Composting being above the ground, why it takes 12 to 18 months is because it hasn't had any primary decomposer. So that's why your raccoons want to go after it. That's why your opossums, that's why the dogs, the coyotes, the rats want to go after the food that's in a composting system, and that's why a lot of people don't like composting, and that's why we select certain foods to put into our compost because we will have scavengers. We will have, and there's things that break down quickly and there's things that break down slowly. When we ferment food, we can put in all food waste. If you eat it, it's on your plate, it can go in the bucket. It can get fermented. It's everything from bones, eggshells, avocado pits, cherry pits. If you're a gardener, if you've ever composted and you have seen that avocado pit and said, you are going to turn into an avocado tree and I don't like you and why won't you go away? You try bokashi. And what can you do with an avocado pit after it gets fermented?
After it's fermented and in the ground for 3 months, you can crush it with your hand, you can step on it, and it just breaks down. Really, really simple. So I know a lot of folks eat a lot of avocados, and you've got plenty of avocado pits, and that is a frustration. This takes care of that.
It is the most satisfying thing, almost the most satisfying thing in the world, to be able to take an avocado pit and just go, shh. It's fantastic. So even if you don't want to try this out, but you want to try squishing a fermented avocado pit, please contact us because it's just so satisfying. The other things, the differences between composting and bokashi is bokashi essentially after it's fermented, then you put it in the ground, it's one and done. It is simple. Versus composting, people will talk about, I've got to turn my compost, I've got to aerate it. Did I make my layers right? This is a simple process. It's all food waste. It goes in the bucket with a very economical, effective microorganism. We've learned, which I'll go through a little later, that we can cost share in this community and make it economical and viable for every single person. And then it's one and done. There's multiple different ways to bury your food waste, no matter how old or young you are. And it's one and done. This is also very forgiving. So if you were just to leave a bucket, as I said before, of your food waste, and you go off on a cruise for 3 months and you come back, it is going to be full of blue mold, black mold. You're going to say, this is disgusting. I'm going to need to get rid of this. This process, because you're layering with our special effective microorganisms, not ours, but the process, you can leave your bucket and go on vacation and it will just stay as it is. And it'll be ready for you to come right back and continue on. So it is very, very, very forgiving.
And food rot, if anybody's ever smelled food rot, that is gnarly. That is really, really bad. And believe me, we've smelled it a lot. Yay! Whereas bokashi, that does have a smell. It's like a sour, fermented smell. My niece calls it puke juice. So it does have that, but I prefer that over food rot smell because I know what that's going to do for our soil.
Yeah, so, and not only one thing that I need to add in here is composting. It will turn into nutrient dense soil. However, bokashi gives you not only nutrient dense soil, but it actually gives you a shelf stable fertilizer that is a higher nutrient multivitamin than when you're going to get from a compost tea. Compost tea lasts for 48 hours and you have to have a bubbler. Bokashi tea lasts for 3 to 5 years.
Shelf stable in a dark place.
For 3 to 5 years.
A couple other points.
Yes.
Composting, because it is a hot process, you're going to lose 50% of the nutrients to the composting process, and it still does create methane, but that's still better than sending your food to the landfill. Bokashi, because it is anaerobic, you keep 90 to 95% of those minerals and nutrients in the food waste, which then goes back into your soil, and it does not create any methane because it is anaerobic. So on a 1 to 10 scale, compost is like a 5, bokashi is like a 9. When you add it with worms, then it's a 10. So it is the best process that is available on a residential scale at this point.
So back to where we are in our food waste journey. So people started asking us, how are you doing what you're doing? And we're like, well, we're collecting food waste. We're starting to learn how to ferment our food waste. We're seeing how our vegetables taste. And we're going to see if this is what we want to do to grow healthy food for our family and for our neighbors. At the same time, Earth Keepers is helping out our community. They are collecting thousands and thousands of pounds of food waste from 2020 to 2023. I don't know if any of you were former clients of them. So in 2023, they wanted to expand their facilities, add a second one, but zoning in the county changed. Along with inflation, that they decided that they needed to close their doors, that it wasn't going to work. And so people who were clients and customers went, what do I do? So what have most people done? Nothing.
Called the city and
Called
said,
the city.
what are the solutions? And the city had no solutions at that point.
Yeah, so we had started with 6 households. Several of our friends had also used that service, and they said, well, we were using Earth Keepers, can you help us? So we thought about that and said, maybe, but let's think of a bigger solution, because we do not want to be a commercial facility. We do not want to be another Earth
Heck no, we
Keepers.
don't.
It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. We've got to come up with something else to help this community, a different approach. So we started looking at the cities of Bloomington's climate action plan, and we're like, yes, by 2030, the city of Bloomington, they have a waste management goal to divert solid waste by 30%. And they want to divert organic waste by 40%. We have a partner and the city of Bloomington is going to support us. Whatever we can figure out, we think we can align and we can help the city, and we're all going to work on this together.
And with Earth Keepers going out, or with Earth Keepers, we were definitely headed towards that goal. But with Earth Keepers no longer in business, we're now far behind the projections of that goal, unfortunately.
But as I show in my little diagram, we knew, once again, we didn't want to be a commercial facility. We didn't think that the solution would be to help the city or the county find another commercial city, that we needed to not find a different methodology, not put all of our eggs in one basket and just say, hey, one company, take care of our food waste. We needed to come up with some difference. So what we came up with is what we're working on now. And this is our 20-year plan, 30-year plan, we have no idea. But it's a decentralized food waste network. And the idea is, let's not put all our eggs in one basket. Let's create small little community hubs where we're building community by people helping people. So if you are a part of a neighborhood, you could do something like what we're doing. You say, hey, I want more food. I have a small garden and I don't want to buy soil anymore. So I'm going to partner with 3 other households, and I'm going to show them the bokashi process. They are going to layer their food waste with this effective microorganism, and they're going to bring me their bucket, and then I get the benefit of their food waste. Or, hey, I'm in a church, and I know we have a lot of land, and I'm going to suggest that we have areas where members can bring their buckets, and we can work with the Sunday school classes. And as a part of their learning about how to care for the earth, they can help older members bury their food waste. So this is our dream, this is our vision, but we know, once again, we can't do it by ourselves. So we're starting out small. We're starting with lots of different pilot programs. So we started, once again, with just us. Then we moved to adding in 6 households in our neighborhood. Then we added 4 more when Earth Keepers went out of business. And that's where we decided to draw the line, even though people were asking. So what did we do? We need to find some grant funding. Let's start a nonprofit that can teach about this, can teach in the schools, can teach in the community, and let's try to find some grant funds. So that's where we started to partner with the community orchard so we could create a public teaching area. And we're hoping that when zoning laws change, potentially change in Bloomington, that we can also teach at our farmstead. So that's, yes.
So we partnered with the Taste of Bloomington. We collected food waste there. We had National Honor Society students there. We also did food reclamation with the Wheeler Mission, Friends Place, and Shalom Center. And so our model is to partner with organizations, have them find where we can put the food in pits on their property, and then have them find volunteers, which we then teach. Because we don't want to be, we are leaders, but we want to create leaders that take this on so that if we were ever to move out of Bloomington, which isn't going to happen, but let's say we did, there are already leaders entrenched in this methodology, taking it on and teaching other leaders.
So what we've done so far is we got a small grant through the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. They said, we would like you, with our proposal, we said, we want to try to pilot more neighborhoods doing what we're doing. It's been successful in our neighborhood. Let's see if we can get other neighborhoods involved. So right now we have 4 small neighborhood pods. We will have 1 co-housing pod. We also said, hey, can we make a school a neighborhood? They said, sure, we'll amend the grant. And so we have 3 different schools with a classroom being a neighborhood. And then we have 1 neighborhood right now that is waiting for training. And this is a part of our difference in methodology. We think that it is it's critical and part of our protocol that we're not just going to say here, today, take a bucket. You're not going to get it. You're not going to understand.
It takes 4 months to figure out how it fits into your habits, into your daily lifestyle. And all you're doing is you're replacing one receptacle with another receptacle. And so once you've figured out how it fits into your life and how that habit is entrenched, it's very simple. So we want to make sure that this is successful. So we provide that support during that time for that first year.
So yes, we will not just give you a bucket as a part of our Try It program. That was another part of our grant funding, is to basically turn into a fermentation library of sorts so that you can borrow the bucket system. But so instead, we want you to come to a training so that you are feeling confident and you're ready to go. You have the knowledge and you have asked a lot of the questions, that when you go home, you are jumping in feet first versus, oh, I just bought this or I borrowed it and it's going to go sit on the counter because I'm not really sure I'm ready to go. So that's part of our change in methodology of we want to train, we want to educate, we want to have you running and jumping and excited about this. The next thing, as Matt mentioned, we were at the Taste of Bloomington. This was a second grant that we had with how can we get this information out to more people and have them experience, just like we had you guys experience here at the back of the room. We did the same thing at the Taste of Bloomington. We had National Honor Society volunteers, as many as we could get throughout Kirkwood. And as people were coming up to the trash and the recycling, we were like, hey, you have some food waste? Why don't you put it in this bucket? Why don't you sprinkle a bit of this special bran on top of it? Thank you very much. People started asking questions. So that's a part of our community outreach. We're hoping the Waste Reduction District, what we talk to them about is let's make this as a part of every festival has to have a waste management protocol. So if we can create a template and a kit where if you're having a festival for your organization, we train your volunteers, your how to do this. And this is just a part of every festival. This is just what you do.
Right. We want to create a mentality shift in the county around food waste, where it becomes normal that you look at it as a resource instead of as a waste product.
And so that we can come in and you can say, hey, Monroe County Waste Reduction District and Garden Quest, we want to borrow 15 buckets because we're going to have this festival. And we would say, great, yes, the buckets are sitting here at Will Detmer Park. We will train your volunteers, and then you can collect food waste. And then we've already created a partnership with Will Detmer Park, where after you guys collect the food, they want your food waste because they want to build their soil. And so we're trying to create this, not just at Will Detmer Gardens, but we're hoping to have other places around the city and the county in our decentralized network where more food waste can go.
Private residences, churches, schools, parks, so on and so forth.
So even if you live in an apartment, you could be partnered with Bryant Park, for example, and you know that's the park where you can go and take your food waste so that everyone can do this. Another thing that
we're on the time crunch, Elle.
Oh, I can stop
So
for questions.
We're looking for one more festival in Monroe County who would like to partner with us, and we'll be applying for a grant through the Bloomington Commission on Sustainability. Once we have that letter of understanding, then we will apply for that to fund it as well. So if anybody has any festivals that have any food, please talk to us.
Yes. So we do have workshops coming up. If you're interested, there's a QR code. We're doing both are at the community orchard, and these are free workshops. And this is where we go through. It's not you sitting at a table. It is a hands-on experience. We're going to dig. We're going to smell. We're going to feel. We're going to touch. It's just so that you actually know what it's all about before you get into
August 23rd and September 14th. And that's on the Community Orchards Facebook page. Anything else?
Yeah. And then our last thing is we feel like, we're up here, we're excited about all of this, but we do want you to know this is not easy. We are just the two of us. There are a lot of challenges, and so we are looking, we want to take this, like a lot of people come to us and they're like, can you go here? Can you go there? Let's do this. And we want to so badly, but there's only two of us.
And we have 24 hours in a day, just like everybody else.
Yes, yes. So our challenges are keeping a balanced life. We want to move slowly and methodically so that this is successful. So we feel like if you say, let's take on IU, we say, no, let's take on one dorm. Let's start, let's see how it works. Let's review, let's figure out what works, what doesn't, and then let's move on. So that's a challenge because we want to sort of jump in, but we know we have to, for success, we have to pull back. And then it's this big thing of creating this culture shift. How do we get people to say, this is how we want to live. This is how we want our kids, our grandparents, our parents, everyone. This is what we all want to do. This is how we want to be responsible. So those are our challenges. And then our solutions is to excite people, to get them saying, yes, I want to be a champion. Yes, I want to do this. I want to do it myself, or I just want to help out my neighbor, or I want to bring this to my church, or I want to bring this to my school. And things can start small and they can stay small, and that's okay. And our other solution, so if we can find those champions, that's a solution. And then our other thing is just looking for how can we find funding to bring in those excited IU students,
And
because there's
plenty
so
of them that
many
want to join.
that want to join, that want to learn this stuff. But some of them need funding to pay for school. So those are our challenges and our solutions. Questions? Thank you.
I'm sorry. Can I raise my hand?
I just wanted to say that I love this concept because I do compost and it's a pain in the neck. All the things you said are true. So I'm ready. I'm not sure I can come Saturday, but I'll come in September.
Okay. And it can accelerate your compost too. I'll teach you how to do that. They work hand in hand.
Hi, you may have covered this, but I know that I saw a program where the city of San Francisco collects all its restaurant garbage and composts it and takes it out to all the wineries there. Do you have an arrangement with any of the restaurants locally for
Can I
that?
touch on that? So ultimately,
Yeah.
we want to, but that is just too much volume. So I set up a meeting with Caldwell's Incorporated back in March. I had the Waste Reduction District. I had Isabel Piedmont Smith there. I had Monroe County School Corporation, some of the heads of the facilities there.
Who's
And
Caldwell's?
what's that?
They don't.
Caldwell's Inc. is a farm and a food waste company 66 miles away from here in Shelby County. They're located in Morristown. And so they currently have a depackaging facility where they take large quantities of packaged food and they compost it in turn rows. So this is much more for the residential and the smaller scale solution. We still do need a larger scale solution, like an Earth Keepers, but that is just not available right now. So I started that conversation. IU is currently in negotiations with them. They have a bid out. We'll see if that happens. Would really like the city. I've been trying to push the city to do that as well. So that's more the large scale. This is much more the smaller scale. So yeah.
Hi, Ellie.
Hi.
So I was curious if you have any inkling as to why bokashi versus composting, why composting became so big in the US and maybe Europe, and why bokashi just didn't, you know.
I'll make an educated guess on this. So composting it does take longer, but the idea is we have a lot more landscaping and yard waste than we do food waste. And so bokashi is really focused on turning food waste into soil quickly. Can cellulose, our landscaping waste, can it go through the bokashi process? Yes, but you have to use a lot more of the effective microorganisms and it takes longer. And since you're trying to, it's like how we tried it in a 120 gallon trash can. We're taking everything from our garden. And this is a trash can I can fit in. I couldn't even get down to the bottom to dig out the fermented yard waste. It was just impossible. So I think with the composting, since it doesn't have to be in a container, it's much easier to do larger quantities of things.
And we have one more online for you. Charlotte,
Yes.
You want to speak up?
Yes. I gather there is an argument about zoning and a zoning issue. That's surely is that true?
She's asking about the zoning issue. So yeah, the bokashi has nothing to do with the zoning issue. The zoning issue literally has to do with being able to teach in a residentially zoned neighborhood, indoors or outdoors. There was nothing in code that said that you were allowed to, in a residential neighborhood, teach. So we're not allowed to teach how to grow anything, how to pick anything on her property in a residentially zoned neighborhood. So that's yeah, currently. So that's what we're working on to allow that, because the comprehensive plan and the climate action plan both say that urban ag needs to be promoted and zoning laws need to be moved out of the way so that those things can happen in residentially zoned neighborhoods. And so we're just literally doing exactly what the community has already decided on back in 2018, back in 2015 with the Food Policy Council. We're just the first ones to bust through that wall, which is why there's a little controversy around it.
And last question.
Yeah, and thank you. And I think you just addressed what I was going to ask. First, let me comment. I don't have a sibling in the world who would jump through the air and yell bokashi if my life depended on it. So great job, siblings. And you've touched on this. I know you've run into the bureaucracy, if you will, and not to look back on what created those challenges. How are you moving forward dealing with that? Zoning issues, those kinds of things.
So we've been working on this for 4 or 5 years. We're working on it by going to the Board of Zoning Appeals, by going to the Plan. We've gone to the Climate Resilience Committee. We've gone to the Environmental Commission or Committee. I'm on the Commission on Sustainability. I also work with the Waste Reduction District on the Citizens Advisory Committee. I'm on the Organic Waste Task Force. So we're literally hitting this from every single possible angle. The next step, because we got through the Plan Commission meeting, we got a 5-4 favorable a recommendation, so we're moving to city council. I think it'll probably be 17th, their next regular meeting, because on the September 3rd, they're probably dealing with budget. And so we're taking the amendment, which we don't really like because it says commercial. We want it to be urban ag, educational farmstead, which is much more accurate. So we're doing that. We're probably going to present our own amendments along with another urban ag superstar named Jamie Scholl. And so we're coming at it from as many angles as possible because this needs to happen. In fact, because we just did a resolution to increase chicken flock size from 5 to 5, 8, 12, and 20, depending on property size, as well as we just submitted a resolution with definitions around urban agriculture, like farmstead, like homestead, like aquaponics. Because without these definitions in city code, they can't make an amendment with those definitions. It has to be introduced first. So we're taking every step possible to smooth this out for further generations that come after us.
And in the meantime, that's why we partnered with the community orchard, because we didn't want to stop the momentum. So we're saying, well, where can we continue to teach? How can we do this? We'd love to teach at our home, because what we see is if people can see how they can walk the walk, then they will talk the talk and they will do it. So we hope we can go back to teaching on a private property at a home, so people can go, I see that you're doing this and I can do this too. That's our hope.
In the end, to just finish answering your question, we just don't stop. We just take the next action that we can take, however small or however big. Yeah, and because we are fully committed to this culture shift. And once we do this, we have a duplicatable system that we're creating. This duplicatable system can be taken to every city, town, county in the country, in the world, but we have to figure it out here first.
Love your energy and passion and excitement. It just bubbles out of both of you. In honor of your presentation, a donation will be made this quarter to Off Night Productions. I'd like to thank the club members who volunteered to help with today's program: Lynn, Peggy, Tracy, Lori, Leanne, Sarah, Michael, Alan, Glenda. Next meeting will be August 26th. We'll be in the French Panty Room. Our speaker will be Joel Wong, whose talk is titled The Big Five: Science-Based Strategies to Live a More Grateful Life. So Tyler, if you can go ahead and put the graphic for the four-way test. And please stand if you're able. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun?